Hello, it's Judith here. I just wanted to pop on and talk about an issue that I've been dealing with over the last 2-3 weeks and continuing into next week. And that is people, mainly girls, I have to say, and mainly teenagers, who are anxious about going back to school in the next week or two. Maybe because they're changing schools, maybe because they're not happy in the school they're in for a variety of reasons, friendship issues, bullying, whatever. And I've always dealt with this issue, but it does seem to be more on the increase. So I wanted to come on and talk about it, really to make the point that it is possible to do something. I can work with, it's a form of social anxiety, and I can work with and have considerable success with this issue. But it is so much easier if we catch it early on, before it takes hold. So I have had, and I'm about to see, a client who is not going to school because of it. And is not even contemplating going to school next week. And that is harder to work with and also far more traumatic for the girl herself and for her family. So please, if your child of any age over 6, the older the better, I think, but I'll come back to that in a minute. If your child, any age over 6, but certainly in the late, 8, 9, 10 upwards, is really scared about going back to school, is already not sleeping, having nightmares, or just dreading it but not talking about it very much, then please, please, please seek some help, because it is possible to help. And enable them to go to school more comfortably. And not being able to, as I say, has long-term consequences if they end up not being able to go to school for a long term. It also affects their confidence and their self-esteem, all of which are important, particularly in the teenage years or the year 6, any years with exams involved. But just generally for the quality of their life. I am working with a younger child on issues with needles, and that is something that I've talked about before and that I do on a fairly regular basis, a fear of needles. But I particularly wanted to stress this particular kind of social phobia, which is about anxiety or fear about going back to school for whatever reason. Doesn't matter what the reason is, doesn't matter if there is apparently no reason. We can work on the symptoms very easily, very simply, in order to get them to a point where they can go to school with more confidence. So if you've got a child like this or a teenager like this, please get in touch with me or find somebody else. I mean, I'm working online, if you're not local to me in Northampton, I can work online. But look locally if you would prefer face-to-face. Just do something before it gets too bad and is harder for any therapist to deal with. Thank you for listening and watching. If you have, you wouldn't be hearing this if you hadn't. And please take action is the primary message of today, because it is possible to help. And until I see you next time, take care, stay safe.